Morning, everyone.
Good morning, coffee moaners. Welcome, welcome, welcome on this beautiful, sunny Monday morning. I can't believe this weather that we're having. It's just gorgeous.
It can fuck off.
Mark is dark. I feel dark, but we are going to try and have dark and light here.
The weather is a mockery.
It's a mockery of the world. Let's have a bit of dark and light because we're here for the next hour. So thank you for all your support again yesterday. It was a really difficult show yesterday, wasn't it? Because we all feel so...
It resonated for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And you shared back, and it was really, really important, I think, for all of us. So if you're new to this channel, we have a million different things that go on in this channel. Think of us like a TV channel. We've got everything going on. But this is our coffee moaning. It happens Monday through to Saturday, where we discuss the news in a way that normal people do, not the way that news channels do. Where we discuss the news.
Well, that's how we don't do it like normal channels do. We do it with an echo.
Don't know why it does that.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't know. So there's an awful lot that the mainstream media are really not interested in chatting about at all. So you really help get the other side of things out by subscribing to channels like ours. Doesn't cost you anything, but it gets the videos out to more people. So thank you for that. So today we are going to be talking about something that is riling us up so much. And Mark, you did a brilliant job yesterday of articulating the madness of what is going on while still holding your rage back. Because at the moment, they want us all looking rageful and irrational. That's called gaslighting. And I feel that's what governments across the world are doing at the moment, actually, is gaslighting people. So the UK government is shamefully trying to stop protest. And we're going to talk a bit more about that. And our appalling new Home Secretary. You have never seen such a fake-ass woman. That's what I'm going to say. She is
quite astonishing. We've got some clips.
She has sold herself down the river for that taste of power. So also why this is something that everyone we've spoken to has said, you know, our friends, our family, the people messaging us on social media. And really that's how we choose what stories to do, isn't it, Mark?
Not entirely.
Sometimes it's like what's making all of our hearts beat. No, obviously not all the time, but there's no way that we weren't going to talk about this today, which is, and ask this question: why isn't the Mosque attack being called an act of terrorism? So, and we want to read out some of your thoughts on that as well. So really do tell us. Also, Chicago. If you don't know what's happening out in America, we're really going to start talking a bit more about this because it is what's coming down the road. It's hurtling towards us. So we do not want the same kind of hell on earth.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of what we try and do is I with each day that goes by and each week that goes by and each time I see the mainstream media be more and more ineffective, I think our cachet in terms of offering something more than just a chit chat around the kitchen table as to how a family feels about something. I think we do something a little bit more. I think we come at it honestly, emotionally, fairly, but also with an absolute refusal to be lied to or have the wool pulled over our eyes. And I sometimes, my biggest thing in life is injustice. And where I feel injustice in the broadest sense with so many things that are happening in the world is the way in which the population, if you like, is lied to, manipulated. And that's not to say I haven't been lied to. And the reason I feel so strongly about this is I've realized in so many different ways how I have been lied to over the years. We've all been lied to over the years.
Awake,
and when you become aware of some things, everyone has awareness at different speeds. And sometimes I just feel this huge burden of responsibility in these lives to speed us all up to a place of realization. It's not that we're not all there, and it's not that some of us aren't there sooner than others, and it's not that some of us are feeling it more keenly than others. But sometimes I feel almost, when I go live, I don't know if you get this, I feel a panic-stricken sense of urgency.
Yes.
In that it feels like every day at the moment, there's a real urgency to say don't think this is what's happening, or don't believe that's what's happening.
Question it. And I think, you know, just before we go live, there is almost a feeling of panic in our house. It's like, I think that's true because it's so easy, you know, the more you drill into the way a headline is sold to you, the words that are used, you know, it's so scary. When I think about how things have just washed over me and washed into me over the years, and what I've just accepted by osmosis.
I mean, not a moron, but I mean, what a moron. I had to pull it down because the comments were flying up.
Oh, this made me feel...
If you see something, click on it, then it'll hold it there, and then the comments can come.
It was somebody there saying, I made a real effort. Oh, there she is, Lanina, I think.
You push it down.
I made an effort to join the live as I'm losing it at the disparity in reporting of Islamophobia compared to anti-Semitism. Thank you, Lanina. And that's what we're talking about, that sort of panic to say, you know what, there are so many of us that are seeing it. But if you're in, say you haven't got a family or your colleagues or your friends.
Or a platform maybe. You
know, that you can't connect with over this, you do start to think that you're going mad. And so that's why when we do these lives, they're just as important for us as they are for you.
Yeah. And I mean, I've said it before, it's a really tricky one. It's like on the live yesterday, which was a very emotional, very important live. It doesn't mean people of a contrary opinion can't come in.
We love that.
But how you introduce yourself on that first message, and I do need to say this, I run a tight ship. Me and Michelle run a really tight ship. We're long enough in the tooth. We've been around the block enough times to know a bullshitter and smell nastiness when it's coming through within the first 3 syllables. So when people go, oh, you say you want all these other opinions, but you don't. Yeah, we do, but we don't when you're an arse.
Not when you're rude.
So it's as simple as that.
I don't listen to anyone's opinions if they're being rude to me.
We really do encourage contrary opinions, but not if you're an arse.
Yeah, and we love it if when people say, God, well, I just don't know what you mean. I'm not getting it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that conversation, as we often say on here, I think why the world is in the mess it's in is that people are so locked to one way of thinking or another.
And also, I personally have an enormous amount of experience of some of the most passive-aggressive bastards in the world. So when I can read passive aggressivity, you know that show that you used to go, I name that tune in one?
Yeah.
I can name passive aggressivity in the first word you use.
He's got a good troll nose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, let's get on.
But on that note, La Nina, let me pull up this then. Last night I was kind of creating PDFs of certain kind of carousel posts. That's the kind of night I have. But look at this, regarding the mosque versus the Manchester attack. Now, before we go into this, it's really important to say no one died at the mosque. People did die.
Some people might not know the story.
Explain. Oh, well, sorry, at the mosque.
Yeah.
So a mosque was set ablaze in East Sussex the day before, well, yesterday, in the early hours of yesterday morning. And that's come off the back of a week in this country where a Manchester synagogue was also attacked by a marauding, psychotic, nutjob individual. It was an anti-Semitic attack, but by an absolute lunatic, because he targeted a synagogue. So, in that, though, one of the people tragically who died was shot by Manchester police. So this attack on a mosque happens. So, of course, the severity of the consequences of it aren't equivalent. Someone hasn't died. But if we're talking about...
somebody could have.
But not only somebody could have, but there were people in there that, yeah, exactly. It could have been even worse.
They were meant to.
Yeah. So the intention was the same. So I want to talk about, and that News Corp Instagram, is it News Corp? The News Digest Instagram account? News Corp. Just thought, let's have a look at the way in which these stories are covered. And I think this is always really useful. And La Nina, this will speak to your frustration. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Synagogue attack, reported by The Guardian. Manchester attack, 2 killed and 3 injured after terrorist drives into grounds of synagogue and stabs worshippers. Terrorist. Mosque attack, suspected arson attack at East Sussex Mosque investigated as hate crime.
Follow News Corp. They're really good, and you learn so much about the manipulation.
See the important distinction there? And they carry on. ITVX, mosque fire treated as hate crime as images of arson suspects released. So just bear with me on that one. So how could it be treated as a hate crime if you've got footage of arsonists doing it?
Literally, you can see them pouring.
I've got the footage. Yeah, we're going to show it. Yeah. Police hunt 2 men over hate crime arson attack on UK mosque as CCTV released. So it's not an arson attack in inverted commas. We've seen it's an arson attack.
It is an actual arson attack for which there is video footage.
UK mosque,
just like it's an actual genocide, and there is reams and reams of footage.
UK mosque set ablaze CNN with 2 people inside. Police investigating suspected hate crime, but we've seen footage of them dousing it in petrol and setting it alight. So can you see how jaundiced and how one-sided and how corrupt and complicit the media is? So here's some more. Manchester synagogue, latest. Police name terrorist attack suspect as 35-year-old Jihad al-Shami. Manchester synagogue attack. Live updates as terrorists start past unravels. No hesitation to call one terrorism and a total reluctance to call the other terrorism.
Maybe everyone needs to imagine being in their mosque, in their church, in their synagogue, and somebody sets fire to it. Would there be terror induced in you? Would there be?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you be terrified?
Now, all of us, if you'd have asked me to have honed in on the distinction or the difference between the coverage of those two was 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would have possibly been hard pressed to have been able to spot it. This is why what they do is so good. Yeah. It's so subtle.
Yeah.
That is working so subtle, because when you receive the news of the mosque attack, when you receive it, you're not receiving it on a panel, which they brilliantly do, alongside the coverage of the original one. So you haven't got an immediate visual comparative. And because we're all charging around our lives and the media know that we're just kind of consuming what is that headline, they assume we don't actually pause and juxtapose and compare and contrast. And I would encourage
people
everyone.
Don't, because people are busy and people have got a million things that they have to worry about and care about. And they know that, and everything will pass and people will forget and it won't matter.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the very fabric of society, humanity and decency is being eaten away, as we're told, as we're shown how not to care.
And as George Orwell wrote in Big Brother, the final thing was, don't believe your eyes and don't believe your ears. Don't believe what they're telling you. So look, check this out. This is footage.
Then you're a conspiracy theorist, Mark.
Yeah, look.
God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking.
Terrifying.
If this was happening to a synagogue, we'd be calling it a terrorist attack.
Straight into the camera.
Boring it all out.
Very calm. Petrifying. What do you think, guys? What do you feel? Let's read out some comments.
Jackie Harris, the media is Islamophobic. Of course, Manchester was a crime, but so is Islamophobia. It doesn't give a report. Exactly. No one is saying that what happened wasn't. This is the insanity of the whole situation.
And if you want a politician that is drawing these parallels and drawing them very well and being very vocal about them and being excellent in every interview I've watched, it's Zach from the Green Party.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is really, and it's great because he's Jewish as well.
Yeah, that's a real.
But he will be called now. He'll be called now a self-hating Jew.
No, Tommy Robinson's got a line for them. They're elitists.
Elite Jews.
Because remember, an elite Jewish person or an elite person is someone who has one thought,
and then another one,
and then goes,
after.
"Oh fucking hell, I've had another thought."
Yes.
A really elite person is someone who has one thought, then another thought, and goes, "Oh, maybe I was wrong." Fucking hell, and puts the washing out. Fucking hell. Bunty V, so why is arson causing damage to a religious place of worship simply a hate crime, and Palestine action causing damage to government planes an act of terrorism? Thank you for drawing plasticine action into it.
That's, yeah, I hadn't thought of it.
Zoe, the racism is so obvious. I mean, this is the bit that shocks me. This is the moment I get really exasperated. The police didn't arrest the perpetrator initially because his children were present when he assaulted. Oh, sorry, that's obviously related to something else. Fiona Hennessy, my nieces are Indian, Irish, and are in the UK at the moment. I worry for them too. I hear you. What is wrong with people? Susan Sellings, so much violence at the moment in the world. Amanda Roach just feels super sad. No joy to be found in this country anymore.
Well, on that. And I hear you, and me, my family and my friends, that pops up a lot, that sentence, right? But then we have to remember that there is still so much joy, because they're winning when they make us feel like that. Because when there is no hope, when you feel hopeless, it can go one or two ways, you know. And the thing is, I think to keep looking at the joy, and keep looking at all the brilliant people out now that are speaking up and talking against, and actually politics is alive again. And often for politics to really come alive,
Sorry. Oh my God,
no.
it's just lost all my videos. So bear
Oh,
with
he
me.
spent hours
You carry
doing
on
that.
talking. You carry on talking. Oh my
spent hours
God.
doing that. I say, okay, so
I can't believe that. Just carry on saying what you were saying. No, you can't use the thing. I've got to use that.
Oh, right. I don't know, what was I saying? Yeah, so I think, you know, it is really hard. It's really hard sometimes, isn't it, to think positively about anything, but it's so important that we do. It's like yesterday, we had some dark times yesterday, but we also had some really lovely moments. We delivered my mum and dad to Brighton because they needed just a few days away, because they're so engaged in it all as well, and sad, you know, so sad. You know, my dad, imagine 92 and watching your country and your, you know, your cousins, basically the Palestinians or the cousins of the Jordanians, you know, going through all of this, absolutely heartbreaking. My mum is so engaged in it, 88.
Yeah.
And just like, she's on it like that with all the news and everything. They're amazing. And we had some moments of real laughter yesterday. We laughed really hard, and it was so strange. I had to keep pulling myself back and asking myself if that was okay. And because I felt like guilty. And then the sun was shining, and we took a few minutes on the beach, and that was beautiful. And I kept doing this thing where I kept pulling myself back from moments of joy and just thinking about what people are going through. You know, I can hear the birds, and I think, God, you know, Palestinians, they're not hearing the birds at all they're hearing is bombs. Or I think look at my phone and go, my phone is really shit at the moment. And I think of the Congo, and I think of what the cost to life is, these phones. But by the end of the day, that's what makes us human, right? That's what makes us people with a good heart, is experiencing all things. And we have to not have the guilt about the good stuff. And yeah, that we have to work with that, because it's quite hard. And also to find the gratitude. It's like, I'm just going to give you just this couple of sentences. So the other day, one of our girls came into me, and I know this will be partly by what she's seeing and what she's witnessing. And she said to me, Mum, I keep getting, and I thought, oh my God, what's she going to say? She has these rushes of gratitude. This is a teenager, right? Never said anything like this. I look around and I just think, oh, thank God for my home. And I think, oh, thank God for my family. And I was paused, you know, it was a big parent moment, you know. I was like, well, and it just gave me so much joy that she was saying that, but that is born out of the evil that we're witnessing.
Yeah.
There is gratitude. So the more gratitude, you know what I said to her? I said, the more gratitude that people have, the happier in life they are. And at the moment, this really difficult juxtaposition that we're all in, we have to feed ourselves with the joy as well, and gratitude. It's the only way we're going to carry on. Because if we just slip into the darkness of it, we'll be lost.
I think, and also, sorry, I literally have a technical
right,
hellhole in the side here, so it's going to be really clumsy now getting the clips in. No, I think one of the things you just said there, which I think was really complicated, gratitude and joy, and I think it's a really important thing that you've said there, because finding joy in all of this, I'm finding really hard to find joy. Now, when stuff is also going on in your own private life, and that's for everyone, everyone's just going through the ordinary shit, the highs, the lows, the adulting, the sandwich generation, the kids, the pets, the everything. And then the really serious shit like Prawn Nadia and her friends are going through at the moment. You know, there's a strong argument to say there is no joy. And part of our job now is, and certainly my job, is to keep across everything with a fearful and fearsome eye on where we're being manipulated, where we're being controlled, where we're being sold a pup, and how we're being manipulated in our fear and made to not feel joy. And the weird thing is that these horrible sort of, I would say, influences of the far right and reform and this, they're all indulging in, they're all trading in people's lack of gratitude, because so many people haven't got much. But the fucking fool's gold of all of it is the people who haven't got much are being manipulated by people who are going to give them nothing.
And are going to take it all for themselves.
Going to take it all for themselves. Yeah. And so it's like there are certain people, it's like Boris Johnson was doing it around Brexit, wasn't it? What are you? Why are you all doom and fear and what's it?
Doom and gloomers. No. Oh,
what was
God,
the phrase?
What was it?
Project Fear.
Project.
Why are you? So if you have a criticism or a concern, you're Project Fear.
Because he's so held. People like that so held. They have houses in the country.
You can afford to not indulge in Project Fear.
They have friends that they could sofa surf on in the most luxurious places. Real people have real worries about paying their mortgage, about getting through, about paying the fucking food bills, all of it.
But many more people of different strata are going through that than just, you know, like many people, like Tommy Robinson would argue that he represents but doesn't, you know, we're the elite. You know, who was it? Fat Terry, who came on and said, you're fucking Ponzi kind of people in, you know, posh people. And it's like the middle classes, for whatever they're worth and whatever you think of them, and even if you're not them, most families in different stratas that have different outgoings and different commitments are being squeezed to within an inch of their lives. Everyone is finding it tight. It's relative to what you're used to, admittedly, and certain people have got more and less than others, but everyone is experiencing it. And these governments, these leaders are just manipulating us to a place of joylessness. And then when we don't feel joy, you've got some bright spark like Boris Johnson or some other government who go, well, you know, why are you feeling so gloom and doom about everything? Everything's going to be cheery. Blame the migrants.
I think you just went to no joy when I was trying to find the joy. So find the joy in the small things and the gratitude of things I think helps.
Jola makes a good point. We are being played from every angle.
It helps me to say today my children are safe. Today, you know, I try and stay in the day with my own stuff today. And it helps. So I learned that from your rehab experience. Just for today, XYZ.
Right, good.
Just for today, we've got this.
Yes. Okay, I'm just going to play you a clip which comes from the marches. Again, I'm really having to kind of upload blind here, which is really frustrating. But this lady, Nadia, you know.
Nicola Thorpe. Well, I don't know her. We sort of DM each other. I really like her Instagram account. I really like what a feminist she is. I really like her gentle way that she does everything.
Okay, and this was at the march.
She's very smart.
Have a listen to this.
The state of my voice, but I'm here in Trafalgar Square. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm at the Palestine Action demonstration that's taking place today, and I was just interviewing a lady, 83-year-old Sue Parfitt, who is a reverend. You might be familiar with her. She's been in the news before for having previously been arrested under the Terrorism Act for holding a sign that said, I support Palestine Action, I oppose genocide. And halfway through interviewing her, the Metropolitan Police arrested her. I only just got my microphone off her before they took her away. I'll be uploading a video later today, but this feels unbelievable.
It really does. We played a clip of hers a few weeks ago. Remember, she was talking to everybody on the march, you know, on the Tommy Robinson march, and just she's very good in the way that she follow her. She's great, Nicola Thorpe. But unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. You know what? That woman should have had a sign up saying, I agree with genocide. I agree with bombing hospitals, because you can't be arrested for that.
No, absolutely. It's beyond shocking. I just want to show you some of the headlines that we were showing yesterday. Bear with me one second again. This was what we were outraged about yesterday, and we want to talk more about this because this is Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, who has decided that off the back of the Manchester synagogue attack, off the back of Palestine Action marches and peaceful Palestinian protests, the government has sought to connect the atmosphere of anti-Semitism with these marches. It's the most reprehensible, dangerous, inaccurate, false equivalence and connection I've ever known drawn between two things in the history of this country. The Labour Party are currently indulging in most of the dirty work of the reform.
And can I just pause? The fact that she used the word, what he did was un-British. what, you know, the Manchester attack.
Right.
It was un-British. You are stirring up. We said this yesterday on the live. Her and Keir aided and abetted the Tommy Robinson vibe there, right? Let's rule by dividing. Let's divide everybody up. Let's get everybody fighting with everybody. Interesting that the very next day there was an attack on a mosque, you know. But this woman, wow.
Well,
she has turned herself around with the taste of power.
Well, let's just hear what. Yeah, so this is what she said yesterday. Police to get new powers and crack down on repeated protests. So the word that was doing my nut in yesterday was cumulative. Yes. And I just want to make very clear, Shabana Mahmood and the Labour government, the reason people go on cumulative marches is because you have cumulatively done nothing about a genocide. Yeah. The breaching of international humanitarian law, and you have not listened to a single thing anyone has said. So that's the reason that they're not cumulative. Just
because everyone likes going out once a month on a Saturday.
I think everyone would rather be having a sandwich.
Everyone would love to be out with their mates or cleaning up their house or earning an extra day's pay.
Exactly.
We don't do it for fun. We do it because we are beside ourselves with fear at what is going on.
Absolutely. But you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe this is the same woman who back in 2014 was saying this at a certain demonstration.
She needed
MPs, particularly on the government benches, had to stand up and say, I have received many emails from my constituents about this issue. So please keep up the pressure on your members of parliament. Go to their advice surgeries, take 20 people with you and ask them to justify their views on Palestine and on Gaza. And if they say they support Gaza and support the plight of the Palestinians, ask them to evidence it and to take some action to show solidarity. That's how we can make a difference, because Israel's actions, its killing of children, its bombing of schools and hospitals, must be condemned without equivocation. We know what they've done is wrong. If David Cameron fails to speak out, that is a moral outrage. He may stay silent, but we will never stay silent. So let out an almighty roar and tell this government we will not stay silent until the Palestinians are free.
Woo! Get those votes. Wow, you used that, honey, didn't you? And you got to the top. Now you want everyone to just sit down and shut up.
Oh, so she used the Palestinian campaign to get to power.
Yeah.
You shameless. Shabana Mahmood.
She actually said that there shouldn't have been. That was planned. That demonstration outside Downing Street before what happened in Manchester. And what was it she said?
She sought to say it was she sought to connect the two things.
But we found it disrespectful that on that day, 75 minimum, those are the bodies they could pull out, were killed on that day by Israel bombing a family block. So she wanted us to just not say anything on that day. She is unbelievable.
Let me explain, and let's also explain this government, and this is where what Owen Jones and Declassified did so well at the Labour Party conference. Forget what they were asking, which were brilliant. Forget the evasiveness of the politicians, which was disgusting. The Yvette Cooper prevarication and filibustering, and their ability to not talk about anything by talking about
and
nothing.
Then they cried sexism and they cried bullying because they were being asked questions that they didn't like.
The cumulative process of these anti-genocide marches, as Fiona Hennessy says, will stop and not be cumulative when the genocide stops.
Of course.
Stop the genocide.
Because unlike you, Shabana Mahmood, we didn't use this to get us somewhere.
No,
right?
Absolutely right.
Maybe you could have been cumulative, huh? But you got what you wanted, which was power, and then you step back, and now you don't care about the Palestinians.
And the awful thing is we have not a single individual presenter, journalist, anywhere in the mainstream media who would have the guts, balls, or audacity in a good way to show her that clip and say, what's changed?
Yes.
If I was Andrew Marr and I got her on, or if I was Laura Kinsberg, or if I was anyone else that was getting them onto these shows, I would say, well, hang on a minute, you're saying all of this now. What happened to this statement? And then keep the camera on her. None of our mainstream media does this. None of them. Nick Ferrari won't ask any question other than the only time he got the fucking Prime Minister sat in a lit studio opposite him, not even on his radio show. Nick Ferrari, LBC Drive Time fucking presenter. The only reason he got him in a studio with beautiful lights, and the reason Keir Starmer agreed to it, was so that Nick Ferrari could be outraged and say, but what about announcing a state of Palestine? Isn't that offensive to everyone in Israel? Oh, you can talk about that, but not about what's actually happening on the ground. The media is fucked. These politicians are answerable to no one. We are being sold a pup with this so-called democracy. Our media is fucked, compromised, gone, done, finished, end of. Do not watch the BBC News anymore, Dina. It's pointless.
You know who might pull her up on this? Channel 4 News.
Channel 4 News. I have a
They
clip
might
somewhere.
pull her up on this, I think.
But look, let me just show this that Miss Anne Harriman just posted this morning. Wait a minute. So she said, whilst being interviewed, I think, is that Laura Kinsberg? Yes. She said this. She said this. Just because you have a freedom doesn't mean you have to use it at every moment of every day.
But who decides when we use our freedom and when we don't?
But if you can't use it whenever you want, it's not a freedom.
Exactly.
If you can't use it as often as you want, all the time if needs be, it's not a freedom.
Because if somebody's going to decide when we use it or not, there's going to be a schedule, and certain things you can feel free about and other things you can't feel free about. That ain't freedom.
I'm going fucking insane. I mean, Mr. Harron put under that bless him, he's a man of many words. He put, wait, what?
What?
Hang
on a minute.
Freedom is about not
but
using
not
it.
all the time. Just when we decide you're free.
Does that mean we have a right to say to our
what she said makes no sense. Exactly.
Let's have a look at it again.
Exactly. But you know what? It's obviously going to be her tagline.
Just because you have a freedom doesn't mean you have to use it at every moment of every day. Actually, I beg to differ. I think that's precisely what a freedom is, if you want to. I wonder if we're allowed to ask politicians to not give us cumulative bullshit answers every time they're asked a question.
Yeah. Oh, see, I'd hit Shakira. I don't understand.
Oh my God. This is as frustrating. Your fingers never touch but your fingers never touch the right part of it. Which one do you want, darling?
It's okay, it doesn't matter.
Which one do you want?
I don't know, it's gone.
Sorry.
That's exactly what I did.
You didn't go down here. You don't ever look at where your finger. It's on your phone, and my finger just does it. No, you have to go to a certain part of the screen. The language being used by Shabana Mahmood to restrict our rights, incredibly insidious and frightening.
Exactly. Seeps in.
It's
oh yeah, we can't have freedom on Saturdays. Maybe they'll take away all freedom on Saturdays, because that's usually when marches happen, right? Protests. Saturdays are freedom free.
No, this is a great point from Blake. I haven't seen your comment before. Blake Wood, I can't do Roman numerals. The police describe an act of terrorism as a hate crime, yet the right-wing media have the gall to claim we have two-tier policing.
I know. Exactly. Thank you.
It's just, who the fuck is she to tell us how to use our well, she's the Home Secretary, unfortunately.
And she's got power. And she got there on the backs of the Palestinians that now she's turned her back on.
Now, I just want there was a big report in the Guardian today. Civil liberty groups are expressing concern over the Home Secretary. This isn't just us ranting. Are expressing concern over the plan for more anti-protest powers. Let me just, Shabana Mahmood said on Sunday that repeated large-scale demos over Gaza have caused considerable fear. That is such an inaccuracy. It is such a piece of propaganda. It's wrong. It's illegitimate to say that. Following her statement, the pressure group Defend Our Juries promised to escalate the demonstrations in support of Palestine action over the next 10 days. So, you know, far from actually sort of stopping things, people are going to...
She will have to go to the courts to do this, won't she?
No, what she's going to do is she's going to tweak to...
tweak? Because it's very like Trump, isn't it?
Yeah, she's just going to tweak two paragraphs.
She's tweaking.
Yeah, I think they might... You're right. I think they might still have to... But
I don't think you can just change the problem with this fundamental...
okay, let's just for a moment, let's just take the fight dogs off for a minute. Sit, Rover, okay? Let's just assume that the Labour government and this hopeless specimen of contradiction and hypocrisy, Shabana Mahmood, let's just say for a minute what they're trying to do here is just de-escalate, and they're doing it in a really cack-handed manner. Once they've established this rule, if they bring this in, imagine how it will be exploited by the likes of Reform, that you can't have cumulative protest. Imagine how all these, I mean, Labour are literally doing everything for the incoming government of Reform. They're just getting, I mean, if you want to get into conspiracy theories, you could start to ask yourself questions about Keir Starmer.
I asked myself millions of questions about Keir Starmer.
Oh my God.
Turkish Sultan.
Let me pop that up whilst I find my next clip.
Hi there. Look at the US national debt. It's spiraling out of control. China is going down. They're trying to bully everyone else militarily to militarily steal resources and force trade deals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, Nadia said something years ago, way before we were kind of awake. Nadia made this really beautifully simple suggestion.
I am
which ironically, I think at some point before he got into power, Donald Trump went, why can't we do this? Nadia said, why doesn't everyone just take it back to zero? Why doesn't everyone say, look, we don't owe anyone anything?
So-and-so owns this about billions.
China owns that debt.
So-and-so owns about that amount of billions.
Yeah.
Why don't we just start again?
Given it's all...
Because nobody's going to get it, are they?
No.
And he went, oh, well, nobody would have ever got it. I went, well, why is it a situation?
No one, it's like you never own your own house in the end, because even when you do own it, you die and you give it to the bloody country. I mean, so Nadia suggests, why don't we just they call it, there's a name for it, isn't it, where they call it a debt jubilee. Thank you, Arsenal. There is a debt jubilee. Why don't you just go, oh, let's all just go, fuck it, let's start again. Let's go to the wacky races, and whoever's fastest, just start again. Well, that's never going to happen. No. But as countries like America hit levels of debt that
I'm very
are
upset
totally
that Trump
unwieldy.
Said that, because that means I'm as daft as
no, there were moments. I think there were even moments in his strange kind of Edam-like brain where kind of sharp thoughts passed through like a comet, but then went out the other side. I just want to play you this clip.
Not Edam. Emmental.
Edam has holes, doesn't it? Does it not? Oh God, that's fucking wrecked my cheese knowledge. I'm going to play you a clip Nadia sent me this morning. It speaks to what we're talking about. And it's Russell T. Davies talking about television.
He's talking about television, but I think this is, well, we'll talk about it after.
Yeah,
watch it first.
Listen to what he's saying and then apply it more broadly to everything we're going through.
TV gets timid, and you all know how hard it is to deal with compliance. And I'm not blaming the people in compliance. They work very hard and have a tough job to do. I do blame their bosses for getting scared. And I can feel it. I've literally had experience of this. The compliance is getting tough. You can't say this, you can't say that. You have to balance it. No, you don't have to fucking balance it. It's like you can just be strong and say what you want. And I think then that is where censorship creeps in. The censorship isn't the government, isn't the authorities, it's in us. That's when we sit there and say, oh, they won't like that. Oh, you can't do that. You can't say that. And then the worst form of censorship of all comes in at home, where the writers, and I don't just mean drama, I mean writers, whether in children's or factual or documentaries, entertainment, where those creators sit there saying, I can't write that. They won't like that. They won't accept that. They won't make that. And that is the worst form of censorship that exists, because it censors an idea before it's ever been shown to someone. So now, with the danger that is coming towards us, indisputably coming towards us, we now need a world in which the BBC stands for Big Balls Corporation. We need an ITV that is literally independent television. We need a Channel 4 that is Channel 4 something. We need a Netflix that is not enough trans films in it, love. That took a while. But it's like we've seen in America what is happening, how the government is attacking the media. They're literally attacking people and literally suing them. And we all know in this country there are people who use that as a playbook. That is coming this way. That's a fact. And television at its best it's a beacon, it's a lighthouse, it's an emergency flare, it's a light in the dark, it is a torchbearer that stands for truth and insight and wisdom and justice, and we must not let that flame go out. Thank you very much.
Oh my God. And you know, did we say who Russell T. Davies is?
He's
a brilliant
Doctor
writer.
Who, Torchwood. Yeah, absolutely.
Torchwood. what was the series? Oh my God.
He's done so much.
So much. And he's been on Loose. I was so lucky. It's a sin, yeah. I was so lucky to be on Loose Women one day when he came on, and he is, oh my God, Mark, you would love him.
No.
And his brain, he's just like, that speech, I found that speech so clever.
It's so clever. My heart broke as I listened to it, because in many regards, and I really want to hold MeTube's comment there, in many regards, what's sad and tragic is television has kind of is a ship that's sailed by now. I think it hasn't if you're someone with the power and the heft that he has, because he's just so brilliant, and he is a titan. He's considered one of our best kind of TV drama writers.
But he's feeling it.
But if he's feeling it, and I hate to say it, I wouldn't be at all surprised if now he probably will feel it even more, because
he's done that as he's picked up his BAFTA with all those heads there.
MeTube makes a very good point. The funding model for what Russell wants already exists. It's called YouTube. You let advertising funding all media, the good and the bad advertising. Exactly. I mean, and that's a really good point.
But that's what we're fearful of. Could this be next? Please hit that subscribe button, because we're all fighting an algorithm here that doesn't want us to talk.
But an incredible quote. But the part of what he was saying there, which I think we really have to hold on to as well. And I actually said to Nads, and I felt really nervous. Other stuff's going on in the background here. I put my camera down. We were working out the stories to promote this on Instagram. And I said to Nads, I said, I feel really bad, but I feel we have to really ram down the channel's throats, our throats, your throats, our throats, a real sense of what is happening in America with ICE. What I'm seeing increasingly is footage that is becoming less and less challenged and as normal to see on my feed as the emaciated, liquefied bodies of children handed to parents in bags in Gaza. These are becoming the new normals. And we've got to kind of... I've been talking about them a lot, haven't I? These ICE videos that I've been watching right from day one of ICE being given carte blanche, really. And when he says what's coming down the road, that's what he's talking about. And censorship in our own thoughts, like to even think something. It's getting a bit dangerous. How many times do we think of putting, but how many times, I mean, it's a really important point what you say then. What he says there is really clever. Really, it's not fucking sophisticated thought, but what he's saying, it's not about, people often think censorship occurs with someone at the top going, saying, this don't do that. That does happen. And they go, don't put that in, don't put that in. But that's easy to deal with, that's it's obvious. But what happens is more and more playwrights, more and more creatives, more and more journalists start to pull their punches and just think, like, how many times have you said, do you think we should post that? Just all the time. Just the, do you think we should post that? And that's not because it's anything it shouldn't be, but we're worried that who will read that in that way or this way, or will that harm something in another way? Is it better to have this fight with the gatekeeper, to quote your dad, or a different fight with the gatekeeper? You're having to make, and as soon as you start to pull your punch, and that's the phrase, isn't it? You pull a punch when you're kind of trying to work out whether you should throw the punch. Yeah. Of course, there's a strong argument that you don't just punch willy-nilly. Everyone needs to be thinking about compliance, as Russell T. Davies says. Well, and decency. You don't just insult people. That is normal. But we are getting to the point where thoughts, like, what was it he said, like, to have a thought. When you have this, you can't even have the thought. You can't even put it out there first. And that's why we always say here, to look at other channels, get information from all over the place, because otherwise we get stuck in this one way of thinking, and that in some way helps people, they think, to feel safe, and it doesn't. We've got to expand our thought, haven't we? Absolutely. We've got to question more. But I tell you what, it takes some fucking bravery. And sometimes I get just worn out with how many times people will say to me, thank you for being so brave. It's like, it's really scary that people say that to me all the time, because it's like, what are they imagining for me? What are they imagining for me? I know what they're imagining for me, but I just wish people would stop saying to me, you're brave, because I just want this to just be normal, that to be like, to be on your Instagram and saying that you're upset about genocide, or why do I have to be fucking brave to say that? That's scary, man. That's thought police. That's the future. If now it's scary, if you can be arrested for being anti-genocide, but not be arrested for holding a placard that says you're pro it, what is going on? When ICE agents can break into people's homes, drag them out, beat them up,
in
Well, I just
full
want to
view
show
of
you
cameras,
this.
send them to El Salvador or just to some random prison forever. And we've got
Thank you,
politicians here making sounds that are a bit like
They're not
that.
making sounds, they're making promises. So Kemi Badenoch and Reform will introduce ICE-style units to take out illegal immigrants. And it will start with illegal immigrants and illegal migrants. It will then move on, presumably, towards legal migrants who don't contribute enough or don't have a certain kind of cachet. Everyone and anyone of a migrant background needs to be really concerned. And it really is. And I've said to Nat again this morning, I said, we have to start showing what's happening in America more, because
So
it's
people realise.
truly shocking, because it will be here. It will be here. Just, I mean, you know, people, just because we don't have guns. I mean, you know, and who are they going to be recruiting? That's it. Who will they recruit to do this work?
This is such a good point. Captain Bingo 100. Trump is trying to provoke a George Floyd type backlash, which is why ICE behavior is constantly escalating. He is desperate to put those troops out, to this invasion that he uses all the time. We're being invaded. He's not being invaded. He's not being invaded. But that's his way out of any votes, isn't it? What's
Absolutely.
the midterms?
The midterms.
Because if you've been invaded and the troops are out in the street, midterms have to be cancelled.
Now, in terms of American news, I feel we need to kind of do a little bit of a focus on that at another time. But we are going to just look at Chicago. I just want to show you a clip. They're clamping down really hard in Chicago. A judge denied him the ability to send the National Guard into Portland in Oregon. So what he did was, bizarrely, he's ordered the National Guard in California to go up to Portland. So Gavin Newsom has now issued a court order to stop him from doing this. Gavin Newsom, I mean, again, unfortunately supports the Zionist regime that is Israel, but he's about the only voice that seems to be opposing Trump at all, you know, governmentally. In Chicago, meanwhile, oh my God, the National Guard and ICE are coming down hard on migrants, immigrants, and stopping and dragging people off. I saw a clip, and I haven't got it here because it was one of those that popped up, got it, and then it disappeared, where I've seen Chicago police, and in fact, there is a story that the Fox News is running. National Police Union calls Chicago police are refusing to help ICE agents. They've got this law in America that if you in any way obstruct the actions of ICE, you too can be arrested, which is why solicitors going in to represent people who've been taken by ICE get immediately arrested if they're in any way obstructive. Do you remember that judge was stopped because she was trying to stop someone being charged? Now Chicago police run the risk, some Chicago police, who I've seen crying and sobbing in alleyways, refusing to engage in what ICE and the National Guard are asking them to do. We could have a situation where you're going to have certain police constabularies, departments against ICE. It's all shaping up to be Civil War-esque in extraordinary sort of, you know, speed. So let me just show you this. This is from Chicago. This just really struck me as quite shocking. So check this out.
Go, dude. Move back. Touch me. Walk in the vehicle. What you gonna do? Move back. Please move back. Move back. Come on. What you gonna do? Move back.
What, this isn't backing up for you? What?
Step back. Step back. Keep moving over. I'm on a public road.
He's not doing anything. You're saying that.
Oh my. Oh.
He's not doing anything.
He's
not doing anything.
You need to stand over there.
No, he's not. I'm gonna stand right here. He's not
you're
doing.
gonna stand where
I'm
I
gonna
tell you to
stand right
stand.
here. I'm gonna
Or else
stand
you're
right
next.
Oh my God. And that's what ICE are doing all the time. But they're masked, even their eyes are masked.
So President Trump deploys hundreds of National Guard troops to Chicago.
He's still so raging about George Floyd and what Black Lives Matter achieved. He's so furious with it.
These are standard images in Chicago.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I just want to move to just one of our final stories.
Bridget, if that's not domestic
well, how does that make
terrorism,
people think? Yeah, how does that make
the
people
aggression's
think?
petrifying.
I agree, Mark. Show more ice, Stephanie. Can you do more shorts or Insta Reels as more shareable? Okay, good point. Yeah, absolutely. Wait till Farage gets in. We will be the same, Tanya Bartlett.
Thank God we don't have the gun culture, but...
Sophia B. Well, the problem with this, Sophia B, is this not enough to make sure this never happens again? It's like Nadia makes this point a lot. For huge numbers of people, seeing that is wonderful. You're not going to, I mean, unbelievably. For anyone who's racist, yeah, there'll be a,
oh, wow, that's
we can do it.
We could get rid of all the immigrants and all the migrants.
We can actually do that.
Not understanding what that does to a society.
You
can't separate that kind of evil.
And it's not about scaring ourselves for the sake of scaring. It's about really thinking about how something as simple as voting for a political party can result in this spurious idea of democracy, which we're sold. Just be careful. We all need to be careful. And I think Zach from the Green Party is saying, you know, Reform is going to run an election on fear and hate. We want to run an election on hope and promise.
Have a look at the Green Party. We've both now joined the Green Party. Yeah. Have a look, see if it's for you.
Badenoch is a scary sociopath.
In
really Donna Holland's opinion.
In Donna Holland's opinion,
sorry,
not
Donna.
in...
I'm throwing you under the bus, but you've put it on a public realm.
Yes.
Yeah. Who are these people,
feels like
who are pleased by ICE? We live in a world with them. Very worrying. Well, I hate to say it. I think the vast majority would be pleased, would never admit it. It's the I'm not racist buts, or all the silent minority, silent majority. I don't know. It's just when you look at the numbers.
Well, that's what I was trying to not very well talk about earlier. I think far more good people will turn out to vote this time. That's kind of what I was meaning, is that in this dark time, start to realize the power of solidarity and that there are more good people than bad people. And a lot of bad people are very lazy people. A lot of bad people are very lazy people. They might shout, but they actually get up in the morning, go and vote, do all of that stuff. So, you know, there is power in solidarity. So we all need to start thinking from now who we're going to vote for. Absolutely. So we can help put them in power.
I just want to turn to the Gaza ceasefire deal that Netanyahu apparently posted something on Twitter saying he accepted it and then deleted it. We're in a ludicrous situation, aren't we? So the odd thing about all of this is part of the deal was that Donald Trump said to Israel, stop bombing and stop killing so we can do the hostages. And then what happened was Israel carried on killing people. So 70 people, I think, died yesterday. Another 70
minimum
people.
74, minimum 74. Those are the bodies they've found so far.
I think another 70 have died today. So whilst Trump urges the negotiators to move fast as Gaza ceasefire talks are set to begin in Cairo, I've noticed a certain kind of, and I think there's a strategy in this. What's happening is Israel, everyone is kind of saying, yeah, come on then, you've got to do it quickly. I think they're trying to, I think they know that for Hamas, getting all the hostages out in one big go quickly is hard. I mean, you know, because they probably, where are they and who's alive?
They're not all going to be in one house.
They're all going to be in a kind of, you know, in a bunker. They're all going to be spread out, you know, and there will probably, possibly, unfortunately, be some who are dead, who they haven't said are dead. And so, and I think what's happening here is, I think Israel have said, okay, fine, Trump, also know that Hamas are going to struggle to deliver on this as quickly as they're demanding it. So basically, all I'm trying to say is Israel is paying utter lip service to the idea that they're stopping attacking. They've slightly stopped attacking parts of Gaza, but they're still bombing the rest of the strip, and people are still dying.
And when we say these numbers like 74, of course, don't forget all the people that died in hospital that day because for the last 3 days they've been bleeding out on a floor with no medication. Yes. And all the people there are people dying all the time from starvation. Those numbers aren't added in. The people that are dying from, you know, cancer, where they're not getting any cancer treatment, all of that, there's hundreds more of that going on as well every day. So, yeah. Yeah.
I just want to show this. This is quite a useful kind of animation from Translating Palestine. Every time Hamas said yes, Israel said no. A timeline of rejected ceasefires. And it's just quite useful. November 2023, Hamas agreed to a truce. Israel extended it by 7 days and then resumed the genocide. Hamas stated readiness for political negotiations if Israel agreed to ceasefire and humanitarian corridors. January 2024, Hamas reviewed a 3-phase ceasefire proposal. Netanyahu said it was delusional. May 7th, Hamas accepted the Qatar-Egypt proposal. Israel's response was to invade Rafah 2 days later. Same proposal Biden would present weeks later as Israel's plan. May 31st, Biden announces Israel agreed. Netanyahu rejected it the same day, calling Biden's speech not accurate. August 24th, mid-negotiations, Netanyahu adds new demands, which was permanent troops in Gaza and full border control. Not surprisingly, the talks collapsed. And in the past year, through our political power, we succeeded in preventing this deal from moving forward, said Ben-Gvir in January 2025.
Time again.
So very proudly stating we've scuppered all negotiations.
And Smotrich said yesterday, Jews do not have to abide by international laws. That's what happens when you are the chosen people.
Absolutely. And I'm just playing you these because these are, it's just a really useful resource tool. This January 2025, after 15 months genocide, deal finally reached, but Minister Ben-Gvir admits, I repeatedly blocked ceasefire deals. January 29th to March 18th.
They admit everything. They say everything out loud.
Yeah.
How many times do we say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, temporary January ceasefire came to an end. Who blocked ceasefires? Hamas have said yes many times. Israel have said no. Just to remind you that, and you know, Israeli negotiators themselves have also said that the biggest block to progress is Netanyahu.
The Israeli negotiators. There was one, wasn't there, on Piers Morgan a few weeks ago, very frustrated and saying that. So, you know, this is both sides saying that. Yeah.
And let's not forget, they tend to assassinate negotiators, don't they? They did in Iran, yes. They did in Doha. Yes.
They like to pick on the negotiators.
Yeah.
Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, we gave you the wrong clip for John McDonnell that I really wanted you to see, because we often talk about on here, don't we? Do you think the politicians, do you think our government sees what we see? Do you think that they know what's going on in Gaza? So enter John McDonnell.
Okay.
Oh, that we've had meeting after meeting in the House of Commons where we've had clinicians who've come directly from the hospitals in Gaza to explain to us what's going on. And those clinicians will take us through a description of the suffering that's going on, the lack of resources, and what's happening with regard to the famine and the impact of malnutrition on injured people and sick people. And a number of those clinicians, despite all their experience, some of them have been in war situations in the past. Some of them are traumatized by it themselves, professional clinicians traumatized because this is so horrific out there. Now, ministers have heard that evidence. So why hasn't it moved them to take the action that is required? And I don't know. I don't know anymore. We've been trying to say to Labour ministers, they have to be really careful, because knowing there's a genocide and not taking action, they then can be accused of complicity, particularly if you're continuing to supply arms, which they are. You know, they're still sending the materials out there into the production chain for the F-35s. They're the specific aircraft that are killing so many people. So all I can think that we can continue to do is keep the pressure on, but it's beyond. It is now beyond my level of reasoning to explain why Labour ministers and Keir Starmer himself haven't been moved on this. I really can't understand it.
Well, he's
I love his sort of granddad almost delivery of that. They know everything. Because we've hung on to, you know, when Keir said, I get asked to look at things all the time and I never do. Do you remember that at the beginning? And you sort of think, are they only getting their information? You know, but of course deep down we knew they were being told everything, but like when you hear it like that, you just
Denise Walsh says they've been compromised or bought. I mean,
yeah,
you know, the thing, I said something the other day and I was trying to recut it into a kind of reel or something, and when I said it, it didn't give me any peace. But there was a kind of power that when I said it to myself again afterwards, I thought, oh, actually, I can rest the power here. And it was what I said. I can't remember where I said it. I said something along the lines of, if you, to Starmer and Shabana or Mahmood, I said, if you can't agree or see that a genocide's going on, that's your problem. And there was something quite liberating, because I don't mean it's just their problem, because it's not, it's the Palestinians' problem. It's their spiritual soulful, problem. Existential problem. They will go to their graves, even if nothing changes. It is their problem. you have a problem.
If you can't.
Even if you can't, and will refuse to ever be
power,
aware of it.
If you have power, if you have a heart and you do nothing.
And I think John McDonald's saying that. Yeah, exactly.
Unwell.
And I think when he says, I don't know, it's beyond me now.
Yeah.
It's because if medics, traumatized medics with no axe to grind on either side of the equation are telling you this straight and it changes nothing, then really you are the problem. And I have to stop actually engaging with you or imploring you because it makes me unhealthy to change. You won't change.
He seems
so we have to go
dejected,
somewhere else.
Doesn't he?
I'm not surprised.
Oh, guys,
Funnies.
I've got a couple of cute videos to take us out of this and put us into the world. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Please hit the subscribe button. Stay for this video because it is so funny. Okay. I watched it so many times. I'm actually going to put it up on the Curly Cooks of Croydon because I want people to guess what they think happened with this egg because I know. But I was looking at the comments underneath and nobody got what it was. But yeah, it's so funny. Watch.
Hold on.
The girls not daring to laugh.
What the fuck going on in this motherfucker?
What did happen? It's an egg.
I'm going to put it on
Is it a rotten egg?
I'm going to put it on my Instagram because I want people to guess it on the Curly Cooks of Croydon.
Hold on.
Never seen anyone move.
What the fuck?
Look at their face.
What the fuck going on in this motherfucker?
Follow me on the Curly Cooks of Croydon, me and Dina.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because we do funnies on there, foodie funnies and foodie tips and everything. So, and this, I may have shown you this, I don't know, but I just love it because apparently this woman got loads of hate for allowing her children to behave so badly.
Right.
But I don't think they're behaving badly. I think they're adorable. They're triplets. They're taking turns and they're joyful to each other. Push it. They're well behaved, I think. Alice is fun. I want to do that. I want to swing on the door handles.
Oh, that's so cute. Christopher.
Christopher, thank you so much. Christopher has just gifted 50 memberships to 50 random people will get a membership to our membership area.
You're such a benefactor to the members in this community. You
so
really
please thank Christopher if you get one. He's that's so lovely.
Incredibly generous, incredibly sweet. And on that note, the Sunday show on a Monday is on a Tuesday again tomorrow. Tomorrow night we will see you for a non-political hour of chat, food, and just hanging out.
And any of you 50 people that just got membership will be there with us.
Yeah, exactly. Christopher, incredibly kind.
And it's just fun and silliness and food and no politics.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
I may be doing if everything's all right. Our dog is really, really poorly. If everything's all right with that, I may be doing a live after Married at First Sight.
And you got a review of a movie called Steve coming from me and Nads, which is a new
later.
Netflix Cillian Murphy film, and I'll be doing The Smashing Machine too.
So make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Subscribe is free, so you can be notified when we upload the video, when we go live later, maybe tonight.
Okay, guys.
Thanks,
Lots
guys.
of love.
Take care.